So in this episode, you finally got a chance to see how Dracula was in fact cursed by the Order of the Dragon.
The Order had been, in our mythology, the guy behind the guy behind the guy holding the strings that, and everybody supposedly running countries are their puppets. Vlad Tepes cut those strings, and for cutting those strings, he had to be made an example of.
Thou art condemned to endless night.
The intention was to make him suffer as the Dark One. It was to provide him with all the weaknesses of the devil, fear of God's light, the sun, fear of holy water. All of the basic rules of vampire lore were inflicted upon him.
It called for a fate worse than death, a punishment worse than death, and that would be everlasting life.
Why am I not dead?
This is the price of your defiance.
So not only did they take away his life, but they took away any chance he had of being reunited with his wife in death. They took his soul.
In many ways, it's a great irony, because when they cursed Dracula, instead of create this wretched beast that they would just lock in a dungeon and forget somewhere to suffer for all eternity, they in fact created an unstoppable monster. They in fact created their greatest enemy. And 400 years later, that terrible mistake has come back to bite them in the ass, or the neck.
There is no protection, none, for any brother who violates the principal oath.
Lady Jane is absolutely aware of how brutal the Order of the Dragon is. And she's aware that your neck is on the line. You've signed a document, you've taken vows, you've taken pledges to say that you are part of this order and everything is lesser to it.
In this last episode, you've seen Lord Laurent's demise, which was really just an attempt to show the lengths to which the Order of the Dragon is willing to go to achieve its goals.
Brother Stephen James Laurent, did you place your own interests before those of this most august order?
Even those most loyal to them can be cast aside at a moment's notice.
I did.
If they're in any way a threat to their objectives.
These guys will not hesitate to draw blood, and I think that's probably communicated pretty well in that scene.
What's interesting about Dracula is that he's a master strategist.
And Grayson ends up bringing Harker into his circle and offers him this job as his sort of cultural attaché.
Since he's got Harker in his employ, if Harker and Mina are together, he will have proximity to Mina Murray in a way that he would never have if the two of them were broken up.
He knows her as Ilona, as his wife who was killed. He's just completely caught off guard because his love for Mina was so intense.
Sometimes the people and places we are meant for take us by surprise.
He's constantly trying to give Mina what he thinks she wants.
I want to see her face when she reads the card.
To strive to make Mina happy.
What he does, which is sort of counterintuitive, is that he actually goes to Harker and says, "You're a fool, that you should be together with Mina Murray." So even though he's essentially creating a relationship between the woman he loves and the man to whom she's engaged, he's doing it for a longer play.
He's no hero. He's the bad guy. What he does great things, but terrible, terrible things. Harker is the hero of the piece, not Vlad Tepes.
I can't say I dislike this feeling.
And yet, keeping your employee and Miss Murray together keeps her in your orbit, when it might be wiser to let her go.
Sometimes you're too smart for your own good.
So next week, Lady Jane wakes up to find an extraordinary being that she knows nothing about, and she has to deal with it in a brutal and negligee manner.